and good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to race number 6 of Season 8 of the NNSCRA Mobil1 Cup Series. We are here at yet another speedway. We are here at the Auto Club Speedway here in Fontana, California. Nice weather conditions here. We have no rain in the forecast. This is going to be one exciting event here today, and we're going to get ready for 25 laps of racing at today's event. Getting ready for the run of the TreatMyClot.com 300 as we get ready for what's going to be an exciting event. So far, we've had 5 races and 5 different winners. No repeat winners here in Mobil Cup Series competition so far this season in Season 8. We'll see if maybe we can have our first repeat winner here today, or will we have our 6th straight different driver go to victory lane here this season. Coming into this race, Dylan Thoreau has been putting on quite a clinic here as a rookie this season. He is still the points leader by 19 points over another rookie, Ricky Falcon. Both those rookies getting off to a great start this season, but I don't see either of them starting up here inside the top 10. As Charles Jackson will start on the pole position for today's event. Charles looking for his 7th all-time Mobil1 Cup Series victory, his first here of Season 8. He'll start off alongside of rookie Matthew Dalio in the 12. Dalio with his teammate Tristan Folks lining up in 3rd. Both those drivers out of Penske Race have been having rather struggling seasons so far. Dalio comes in 34th in points, and Tristan Folks comes in 39th in the standings. Mason Wood's going to line up in 4th place. Mason comes in 15th in the point standings in the ride that went to the championship victory lane last season with Luke Walker behind the wheel. And then rounding up the top 5 is going to be Andy Timmons, who was up there in 13th in points with an opportunity today to maybe pick up a victory and be able to move himself up inside the top 10 in points. For those of you that keep track of numbers and trends, Andy Timmons actually went to victory lane early on in Season 7 at the Milwaukee Mile, and we are here early in Season 8, so maybe he'll be able to channel a little bit of that early success he had last season and maybe make something happen here today at Auto Club. But it's time to get these cars rolling off here, and they'll complete a pace lap, and while they do that, we will show you the starting lineup on the top of your screen as per usual. So, coming into this race, as I said, Dylan Thoreau is the points leader by 19 points over Ricky Falcon. Actually, this is going to pause for a quick second here, folks, because I am going to change the speaker volume of these race cars. So, 1 second. There we go. Thank you guys for bearing with me there. Now we'll show you the starting lineup. But coming to this race, as I said, 19 points over Ricky Falcon is Dylan Thoreau. Then 3rd in points is actually our pole sitter, Charles Jackson. He's been having a very consistent start to the season, but is still trying to find victory lane. Trent Dunham's going to be 4th in the point standings. 5th is our winner from Rockingham, UK, Jake Rogers. Levi McIntyre is 6th. Dylan Young, our winner from Las Vegas, he is in 7th. 8th is Anthony McCrory, so the Kyle Out has been doing well this season. 9th place, our winner last week at Coca-Cola, Joshua Pollard, and Joe Davis will complete the top 10 in the standings coming into today's race. A couple of other rookies we should give a shout out to that are having great rookie seasons so far. Gene Stamper is 11th in points, Andreas Allen 12th in the point standings, and Nick Alton is 14th in the current standings. So 5 rookies really taken here to this series so far early on in the season. But it's still early, as I said. There's still a big opportunity here for drivers to be able to get to victory lane here in Season 8. As 25 laps of racing are ready to be run, Charles Jackson and the rookie Matthew Dalio get ready to put us under the green flag. The TreatMyClot.com 300 is green. You're going to see 3 wide, even 4 wide racing here, and there you see 4 wide already. And I believe it's James Silverfox getting moved up there. And Dalio is crowding Mason Wood. That's not good. This is bad back here as Tristan Folks goes to the lead. But this is going to be a hornet's nest back here. And how they even made it through that corner without wrecking, I'm not certain. We got to keep an eye for about Matthew Dalio on back, because these guys are really, really tight. They're going to wreck. There they go. Mason Wood, Timmons, Dalio, and Silverfox. It was a matter of time. You just knew it was going to happen, and it did. Did anybody else wreck with them? Or was it just them? It was just them. Tim Walsh way off the pace, though, at the start of this thing. Don't know what's amiss on his machine. And now these guys have got to settle it out here to at least double wide if they can. 3 wide's normally not a good thing here. Oh, Andy. Oh, Anthony. He's getting way too close. He's leaning against that 28. They're going to wreck. They're going to wreck. They didn't wreck. I'm shocked. And I called Anthony Andy for a minute there. That was a major fail on my part. That's what happens when stuff scares you out of your wits. As Tristan Folks is the leader. Ricky Falcon, second in points, is on pit road. And there's his teammate Andy Timmons. We saw him involved. Poteet is way back here. I wonder if maybe Poteet and his teammate Tim Walsh made some contact. Maybe back in turn 1. But there you see Mason Wood with damage. James Silverfox with damage. And we know that also there was another car that got collected in that Matthew Dalio. I don't think he got away unscathed. As Jessica Shelton's going to stay out, everybody else is coming to pit road. Folks, Jackson, Talampas, Cody Lamas right behind them. And that looks like Nick Smith there in the 3. So Nick Smith's coming to pit road. Teammate Jessica Shelton decides to stay out here as drivers decide to short pit. Let's take a look at a replay of what puts under the caution for the first time here today at Auto Club. Well, all the players that were not involved in that wreck over in 3 are right here clumped together in 1 after the drop of the green flag. So you got to assume that Dylan Poteet, Tim Walsh, and Ricky Falcon all were involved in the same incident. Let's see if we can pinpoint exactly what happens here. They were 4 wide with Trent Dunham going underneath them. Tim Walsh going to make a little contact there with Dylan Poteet. They continue to bounce off of each other, and then he goes up and he gets Ricky Falcon in the left rear. There you see Walsh get into the fence, and Dylan Poteet gets turned up towards the safer barrier as well. So that's a tough break there. Ricky Falcon really had nothing to do with that. It was the contact between the 2 Turner teammates of Dylan Poteet and Tim Walsh, both of whom are having rather struggling seasons so far. 21st in points for Tim Walsh and 25th in points for Dylan Poteet. But Ricky Falcon definitely did not need this, and unfortunately we have received word they have now taken and pushed that car back behind the wall. So what started out to be a great rookie season for Ricky Falcon is going to take a bit of a detour here at Auto Club, as he looks like he'll possibly be the first retiree of the day, coming in second in points, only 19 points out of the top position in the standings. Let's take a look quickly up here at the front here at Andy Timmons and company. I believe they have not yet, well, they have wrecked. Okay, so let's just make this all one replay here, rather than cutting and going to a separate replay. And yeah, you knew that something was going to happen here, and they just started crowding each other heading into 3. Timmons up into Dalio, clips Mason Wood, and then Silver Fox is boxed in with absolutely nowhere to go. And there were quite a few drivers actually who came in running well in the point standings right there in that shot. Silver Fox came in 16th in points, Mason Wood 15th in points, and Andy Timmons was 13th in points. All 3 of these drivers had a shot of getting inside the top 10 in points with a good run today, and all 3 of them had qualified well up at the front of the field. They were up, I believe, just outside the top 5 when that wreck happened. So that is a tough break, and it just shows here at Auto Club, trouble could break out at the front of the field, at the rear of the field, doesn't matter. Every single turn is very treacherous, but we're under the caution for the first time here today. Let's head back now for the green flag. Jessica Shelton rolling the dice here, staying out, and she is the current leader under caution. And I don't think she was the only one to stay out. I think about 7 drivers actually stayed out with her, but she will restart as the leader. Levi McIntyre, or I'm sorry, not Levi McIntyre, Pichu London rather, is going to start second. Third will be Wolfgang Mason. Anthony McCurry is 4th. 5th place, Levi McIntyre. LJ Mills will be in 6th. 7th place, Zach Hamlin. Those, I think, were 7 drivers that decided to stay out. And I'm incorrect in that, actually. No, I'm not. Nope. They were the only 7. Okay, so these drivers did come to pit road, and they're the way that they'll line up. 8th place will be Tristan Folks. 9th, Justin Talampas. Cody Lamas in 10th. 11th will be the pole sitter Charles Jackson. 12th, Nick Smith. 13th, Dylan Thoreau. 14th, Joshua Collard. 15th, Gene Sanford. 16th will be Bob Fergus. 17th, Jacob Lawler. Danny Wells 18th. Caleb Farrell in 19th. And 20th is Joe Davis. Jordan Davis will be in 21st. 22nd will be Nick Alton. Jake Rogers 23rd. 24th, Dylan Young. 25th place, Nick Alton. Andreas Allen. Sean Henley at 26th. 27th, Cassandra Renzi. Kyle Matthews is 28th, 29th is Trent Dunham, and 30th James McLeod. Then it's going to be Chris Washer, Carson Gum, Stephen Pollard the 3rd, Bob Jones, Sean Galligan. That's the top 35. The rest of the drivers still on track are Tim Walsh, Mason Wood, Dylan Poteet, James Silverfox, and Matthew Dalio. We do have 2 drivers out of the race, and I assume that they more than likely are going to be the cars of Andy Timmons and Ricky Falcon, and that is indeed the case. So tough start to the race here for Michael Norman Motorsports. 2 of their rides already out, but one of their rides is leading the race. Jessica Shelton gets us back underway here on lap 6 of 25. Pichu London going to jump immediately to the bottom, looking for the lead. Pichu London, a former Mobil1 Cup Series champion. His buddy Luke Walker won the Mobil1 Cup Series championship last season. And Pichu London has been actually having a rather difficult start to this season, too. He's 38th in the points, but as I said, early on in the season, a win can certainly propel you up through the point stands very quickly, as Anthony McCurry almost gets into his left rear there, almost forced it 4 wide. Now he has to back out and almost has Zach Hamlin into the back of him, as they're 3 wide up here. Look at Wolfgang Mason pushing Jessica Shelton on the high side to get back to the lead. You don't see that every day, but they just worked out a 2-car tandem out of 4, and Wolfgang literally shoved the number 9 to the lead here at Auto Club. And now Wolfgang, utilizing that high side again, is going to go by. He'll go for the lead. We're seeing the outside line get good runs here, both out of 2 and out of 4. And Wolfgang Mason just utilized it right there against Jessica Shelton, moved the 82 Dodge to the point. Shelton now back to second, and let's see if Levi McIntyre makes any progress there on that high side as he's trying to go around Cody Lamas and Nick Smith. Nope, looks like he's actually going to lose some spots. Puggo contact right there between Nick Smith and Cody. Almost sent the 6 up into the 99, but they keep it together. That was a close call. We're looking at the raging battle for third between Pichu London, Cody Lamas, and Levi McIntyre. Nick Smith catching up to that as well as LJ Mills. Now keep in mind, 7 drivers did not come to pit road under that caution. If this thing goes into a long green flag run, they may have to pit before the race is over. And if everybody else is able to make it on fuel that pitted under that caution, who knows? Those drivers that try to utilize strategy may end up getting caught down several laps. Actually, I think the caution could possibly be out. No, it isn't. Nope, we're still green. And I did see one driver back there that actually is running really well, and he's been running well every single race this entire season. Dylan Thoreau, running just outside the top 10, right now scored in the 12th position. The points leader coming into this race, again having a solid outing here today at Auto Club Speedway. Going side by side with the outside pole sitter Tristan Folks right now. This time by, let's see where he was scored. I think he still scored in the 12th position. And he's going to try and get around Tristan Folks. Whoa, Folks nearly got run over by Gene Sanford. And look at the Dylan Thoreau machine. High side goes by Tristan Folks, goes by Anthony McCurry, and goes by Charles Jackson. Now switches lanes on Zach Hamlin. That 23 car is coming. He's the points leader, but he has not been to victory lane yet this season. As meanwhile, up front, Wolfgang Mason putting a clinic on these guys. He still leads. Jessica Shelton's opened up distance now in second. So the 82 and the 9 with a little bit of breathing room, and then it's Mayhem behind them for third. Levi McIntyre now has it. Nick Smith goes underneath. Look at Cody Lamas shoot the gap to go up there with his teammate up the middle, but Pichu London utilizes the high side out of 2. He'll take third place away. And here comes last week's winner, Joshua Collard, right there all over the back bumper of his M&M teammate, Nick Smith. He goes to the bottom now. That would, be, I believe, be somewhere around the 7th, 8th position that battle is raging from. Levi McIntyre now going underneath his teammate, Cody Lamas. That would be for the 4th position, as now Pichu London's going to maybe get stuck in the middle. Cody Lamas going to maybe try and utilize the high side here coming out of 2. Let's see if he gets the run. Moves up there into that high groove, and here he comes. Big run out of turn 2. Moved to 6th to position number 3. LJ Mills tried to follow him, but now it's left side by side with Pichu London for 4th. Going to try and clear him here. Can't quite do it, as they're 3 wide again. This is for the 4th position. Right now, only 3 cars, now make it 4 with LJ Mills, have cleared, battling for position. The leader, Wolfgang Mason. 2nd place, Jessica Shelton. 3rd place, Cody Lamas, who now is under fire from LJ Mills for that spot. I don't think LJ's going to get it, though, because Cody's going to get that really good run through the middle of the corner, and he indeed does. He'll keep 3rd place, as now Cody is trying to run down Jessica Shelton. Jessica Shelton trying to run down Wolfgang Mason. We are past the halfway point here, lap 13 of 25. Right now, it is Wolfgang Mason leading the way. 2nd place, Jessica Shelton. Cody Lamas running in 3rd. I believe for the past 4 seasons or so, Wolfgang Mason's actually been to victory lane at least once. 2 of those seasons, I recall, he actually went to victory lane twice. He is tied for 2nd all-time on the wins list. But the big thing is, Wolfgang Mason, Jessica Shelton and company did not come to pit road under that only caution we've had so far. So you got to think that more than likely, I don't think they're going to be able to stretch you the rest of the way. I mean, they're not conserving fuel right now if they're holding the distance they are between themselves and that battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th on back. So they're going to run out of fuel at some point here. They're going to have to pit, I would think. Right now, though, it is still all Wolfgang Mason in the 82. When it came to the decision of whether to put Ralph Mason or Wolfgang Mason back in Mobil 1 Cup Series competition, it really was a no contest. Wolfgang Mason voted to be in there and doing really well right now. But, you know, it's hard to say Wolfgang Mason is dominating this race because, you know, at some point he's going to have to probably come to pit road. Same with Jessica Shelton. I'm trying to recall if Cody Lamas was one of those drivers that came to pit road or not. It seems like he actually did. So right now, with what I'm thinking is, if this thing does go into a long green flag run to the end, and these drivers who didn't pit under that caution flag do have to pit before this race is over, this is right in the wheelhouse of Cody Lamas. Because he, I think, is going to be able to make it the entire way on fuel after pitting back on lap number 2. Let's try and find a couple of our drivers in the top of the points now. Let's try and find the pole sitter, Charles Jackson. I haven't talked much about him since the drop of the green flag. Running right now in the 6th position, having a good run in that One Main Financial number 11 out of Joe Gibbs Racing. This run, I believe, would definitely give him 2nd place in the point standings over Ricky Falcon, who has DNF'd. Joshua Collard right behind him, comes in 9th in points. How about Trent Dunham in the 8? Comes in 4th in points. Oh, not having a good run here today right now. Currently 34th is where the Bass Pro Shop Chevy is currently positioned. And not too far up ahead of him is Jake Rogers, 5th in the point standings. There you see him. He scored in the 30th position right now. Where's Dylan Young in the 30 car, our winner from Las Vegas? Right now behind the points leader, Dylan Thoreau, running up in the 12th position right now. Trying to get that inside line going, but it doesn't look like it's working. Now he's going to go to the bottom on Thoreau for what would be 11th place, I believe. Maybe 12th, because I saw Gene Stanford actually get around the both of them via the high side. Nope, that will be for the 11th position as the number 30 Chick-fil-A Chevy tries to go to the inside, but Dylan Thoreau gets the run off the corner, and he will keep that position. Where's the Audi of Anthony McCrory running right now? We saw him have a few close scrapes early on. Right now running very consistently in the 16th position, just inside the top 20. And the last driver we got to look up here is Joe Davis in the 41. He's currently running in 23rd right now, trying to utilize the high side to get around Jacob Lawler, James McLeod, and Jordan Davis just up ahead. And there you see just up ahead there is Anthony McCrory. So Joe Davis not too far from outside the top 20. Meanwhile, up ahead, though, Wolfgang Mason still continues to hold what's about a 7 car length advantage over Jessica Shelton. Shelton with about a 4 car length advantage over 3rd place Cody Lamas. And with the way it's looking right now, if Wolfgang Mason and if Jessica Shelton can make it the full 25 laps on 1 tank of fuel, it looks like the battle will end up raging for 2nd before it ends up raging for the lead, because Cody Lamas is closing up the gap on Jessica Shelton quicker than Shelton is closing up the gap on Wolfgang Mason. And if Wolfgang Mason is fortunate enough to have the 9 and the 6 have to battle for 2nd place, that's basically be all she wrote. If indeed Wolfgang Mason can make it to the end, because there's going to be no way with battling for 2nd that those two, Jessica Shelton and Cody Lamas, are going to be able to then regroup, get back single file, and concentrate on running down Wolfgang Mason, because the clock is ticking. The laps are very quickly disappearing. As coming to this lap, it's going to be 5 to go here at Auto Club. And you can see Wolfgang Mason almost hitting 200 miles per hour as he heads here into turn number 1. He is still not conserving fuel. They may have actually been able to make it this entire 25-lap event on 1 tank of fuel. If that's the case, tremendous kudos to drivers like Wolfgang Mason, Jessica Shelton, LJ Mills, who decided to stay out, gain track position, and be able to start up at the front on our only restart of the day and come away with potentially a solid top 5 finish. It's all going to come down to how much Sunoco is left in the tank. Right now, Wolfgang Mason looks like he thinks he's got enough to make it the rest of the way, as there's going to be 4 to go here. Shelton right behind him, but right behind her, though, right there banging on the door for 2nd place is Cody Lamas, and then LJ Mills trying to close in on this, make it a 3-man fight for 2nd place. And like I said, if it ends up turning into a raging battle for the runner-up spot, that's going to be all she wrote, and Wolfgang Mason's going to drive away with this victory. Oh, wait a minute, I just saw the caution. I'm pretty certain I just saw the caution lights. I did indeed. Pace car is out. Caution flag is out. This changes everything. 3 to go as Wolfgang hits the stripe. Now this is going to mean the race is pretty much going to end under caution. I don't think we'll get back green, but the big question is now, can Wolfgang Mason, Jessica Shelton, LJ Mills, other drivers who may have been close on fuel, now be able to utilize these pace laps to maybe shut down the car and save what Sunoco is left to get them around these final 3 laps under yellow? And I don't rightly know who this caution flag even came out for. Got the Turner cars back there of James Silverfox and Tim Walsh, but they were damaged from earlier incidents. I don't really know who the caution is out for, but we're about to find out here. Real quickly, though, we're going to see if anybody has to dive to pit road, because we know these drivers are very close on fuel. Are they going to risk it? Are they going to risk running out of fuel and trying to make it around here? Wolfgang stays out. Shelton does. Looks like everybody is going to stay out. I don't see anybody heading for the pit road. Going all the way through this field here. I believe everybody is staying out. So Wolfgang Mason going to try and stretch it. If he can pull it off with 2 to go here, if he can pull it off, he will be second all-time in all-time Mobil1 Cup Series wins. But it's going to come down to whether he's got enough Sunoco to get him to the end. Let's quickly look back at a replay of our second caution of the day, and it will be our final caution of the day, which could very well put this down to the nitty-gritty of who's got the last drop of Sunoco to get to the end. White flag is displayed for Wolfgang Mason, and if you're wondering why we did not just show you a replay, here is the gospel truth, folks. I have looked back when the caution lights came on the pace car, looked at every driver on track, and no driver encountered any problems. This race here at Auto Club, and maybe what's going to be a first ever in NNSCRA history, is going to be finishing under a phantom caution. I didn't see any driver out of shape. Every driver, from Wolfgang Mason on back to Tim Walsh, they ended up being facing straight. There was no smoke, no skid marks, no nothing to even give any indication that there should have been a caution flag. This race at Auto Club, the Treat My Cloth 300, is going to go to Wolfgang Mason, who just took the checkered flag back there when he crossed the stripe, but it's going to be courtesy, for the first time ever, of a phantom caution. Never before have I said that, and that's the case here today. God's honest truth. I looked back as far as I could, try to see if maybe there was some pit road glitch or anything. Every driver was on track, and it's a phantom caution that is going to give Wolfgang Mason the win here today. He had enough fuel to get to the start-finish line, and Wolfgang Mason will pick up his first win of the season, his 8th overall career Mobil1 Cup Series win, and that puts him only 1 behind the all-time wins list leader Sean Galligan, who has 9. Wolfgang Mason now has 8, and Wolfgang takes over 2nd place in all-time wins in his career in Mobil1 Cup Series competition. That was a first. Wow. Wolfgang Mason continues on his streak, too. I believe it's now been pushed to 4 straight seasons that he has won at least 1 race every season in Mobil1 Cup Series competition. I may be incorrect in that, but it seems like for the past 4 or 5 seasons, every single season he's gone to victory lane at least once. And in our 6th race of the season, our 6th different race winner as well. So we're going to have quite a few drivers in the All-Star race for the Mobil1 Cup Series, that's for sure. And Wolfgang Mason actually came into this race in the 35th position in points, too. So this is going to be a huge points booster for that 82 team. But, man, this race, for the first time ever in NNSCRA history, ends under a phantom caution. I can't believe I'm saying those words. But Wolfgang Mason's going to take the checkered flag here today at Auto Club due to some very, very gutsy pit strategy. And he will win the Treat My Cloth 300. Or .com 300. Doesn't really matter what the name is because the race is over anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this race, though. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finish results, overall points standings, and rookie points heading into next week's event. As a matter of fact, next week we are not going to have a Mobil1 Cup Series race because once we finish up our Auto Club race weekend here with the Stickers Cup Series event, the Last of Us Light Series, Oreo Truck Series, and Mobil Cup Series are all taking a week off when we end up having the Snickers Cup Series go road course racing at the hilly road course of Infineon in Sonoma, California. So, hope you'll be tuning in for those events. Hope to see you next time here on the NNSCRA Sports Channel Offline Racing at its best. Here comes all your information heading into our next Mobil Cup Series race 2 weeks from now. Sean Henley got turned by Dunham, and he saved it! What are these guys doing? Oh, and Henley just got turned now. That time he got turned. Logan Wilson is flipping on his roof. Dylan Young is collected. Sosnowski's collected. Dylan Young is now flipping. Citadino's involved. Mary Cole is in it. Drew Austin has been collected, and Dylan Young continues to flip. Now comes the rest. There is our caution.